Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a bronze player. They are specifically going to be playing some Sigma and Winston. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps me out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, events we have going on, all that good stuff. Okay, so you have Zarya as your partner. So you guys are going to need to do some off-angle madness, preferably not playing from the same spot. I can live with you here. I would prefer if your Zarya's here that you're on the other side of the statue. Nope, nope. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so that doesn't actually help as much as I think you think it does. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's really not. You were late to put this up. So here we are. You're late to put this up. You can put this up from here, push it out a little bit, and it'll still block where you want it to. You're slow to put this out here. And then you're pushing this whip. Do you really need this to, like, completely cover her? Do you? Is this really helping you? Like, yes, now she can't get a shot past it without walking through it. But is that really preferable? Or was this sort of the only place you needed to cover? So, I don't particularly like these general long shield pushes. This is exactly the place where you can get away with a super long shield push, but it's not great. And now you're letting her just poke down your shield. No, no, no. Don't do this. Don't challenge her. Don't challenge her. If you do, put your shield up immediately. No, 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 no. This is time. See how during this time, your hand is stuck out here, sending this forward? That means you can't left click. You can't be using your left click to contribute damage into this. When this shield was plenty good enough, like at the top of these spikes, it was honestly, in my opinion, plenty good enough right here, just barely in front of you. Still protected you. You definitely don't need to still be pushing it. And while you're pushing it, you don't have the ability to throw your orbs down here to put pressure on this Reinhardt. It's taking away your ability to use your other abilities or to use your primary fire. And it's not getting you enough value for what it's doing going up here. So we don't want to do this. We want to just put it up here. Most of my time was gone in dealing with her. Yeah, we don't want that. We want to avoid that if we can. Pull it back, pull it back. Good. You pulled it back before it broke. Okay. Again, that was a pretty far push. You don't really want to push the shield past the break here. You sort of want the shield to stop here, because if you push the shield past the break, it gives them the ability to potentially shoot at the shield when you can't shoot at them. And you don't want a lot of situations where you give the opponents a shield that they can shoot at while they're not in risk of being shot at by you or your teammates. So this is okay, but again, we don't, no, too far. There's a perfectly valid option for, pretend this Reinhardt is someone else to just, like, shoot at this shield while you can't shoot at them. They just stand right here and shoot at this shield, and we don't like that. So we want to keep our shields on our planes. We don't want to push them in like this very often. Okay. Hey, Corey. Many times to block heals. Yeah, it's got a place in blocking heals, but that's a pretty rare application. Like I'm going to push a shield through to block Ana heals, or I'm going to DM to stop someone from getting healed by Ana. That has a place, but it's actually not a terribly common application. You could consider it a tech, not your bread and butter. And you're doing these deep pushes as bread and butter. And again, you should be sending left clicks at that core right now, but you can't because you're still pushing this shield. Pull it back. Good. You're sort of in the middle of the point where you're getting threatened from both sides here. Yeah, they can threaten from here and here. Fortunately, your team's done a little bit of work, but I think you are doomed here. You want to be aware of where you're going to rotate to. Here, it doesn't really work, so when they push through here, could you have rotated back to, like, here, where you have phone booth protecting your left flank while you poke at these guys? Could you have rotated into here where you do this work? Could you have, spammed them a little harder and then rotated to here and made it harder for them to come in? Like, this is a little dicey because we haven't cleared anything over here yet. Oh boy. Again, your shield was doing just as much good for protecting your team here as it is all the way up here. And you've just cost yourself time effectively that we didn't want to give up. But okay. Right idea. Good stun. You don't need to be this close to him. You actually want to be a little further away. You want to be playing a little outside of his swing range, and you want to be playing a little more opposite your Zarya. You don't want to get here where you can potentially put a shield up and block both of you, or swing and hit both of you. You want to be like more here-ish, where he's in this situation of I can only block one of you at a time. I can only swing at one of you at a time. You're out of my swing range. I have to walk at you, and you keep trying to kite while your Zarya melts him in the back if he does that. Throw your shield to the left. Throw your shield to the left. Okay. Throwing your shield there, and then deal with the threat to your left. Nope, you need to fight the Widow if your shield went this way. You can think of your weapon as one thing to keep people honest, and your shield as another. It's not very often that you shield one direction and fight in the other. Usually you want to change the angle, so you'd like back up like this, and then you could fight in this direction. In this direction couldn't shoot at you, but in the specific situation you were in, it was shield one, shoot the other. Yeah, Google's a little too public with names by default for my liking, but that's kind of the internet in general these days.
What is this power?
Still not a great thing. Can be okay, but not a great thing. Okay, so you're really playing out in the open here, and I don't like it, because you're letting their backline have sight to shoot at you, when what you're interacting with is the Reinhardt. So if you're interacting with the Reinhardt, you can do that from here just as well. You can throw your orbs from here, but then Red's backline can't interact with you, and that's your preference. You don't want to be like, aha, I will fight them and their entire backline, for I am Sigma. You want to be like, you know what, if the Reinhardt is the one I'm shooting at, let me just change it so that the Reinhardt is the only one that can interact with me, and not all these other people. Yeah, you're just in the open here with me. Oh boy. Good. We lifted a nanoed Reinhardt. We took out a Mercy. I like it. That Widow does still scare me. And you are visible to her even through walls right now, so please be careful. Cover, cover. Oh boy. Cover, please. Okay, the Widow's gone. Pull it back. And you need to go clear one of these. You see how they're pushing? Hog is pushing through here, and McCree is pushing through here. You need to go clear one of these, and preferably clear them in such a way that the other of them can't fight you. So you could go fight Hog over here, where McCree can't help him. You could go try to push McCree out right now before Hog is able to contribute. But I don't want you staying here, and I want you to set up to fight one of them in the place where the other can't help. You're actually really good at holding off angles. It's kind of your job. Okay, good. Good block. You can pull down that shield. It's not helping you anymore, and you'll want to be able to deploy it again soon. No. You tried. Okay, you threw orbs at a deflecting Genji there, but... And he didn't deflect in reaction to your orbs. He was deflecting before you orbed. Okay, you can deal with the McCree. This is good. You're sort of doing it a little by accident, but you're drifting over here where these guys can't see you. Only the McCree that you're trying to interact with can see it. The truth is the Genji can too, but it's the right idea where you want to close angles and fight one group or one direction at a time here. That could have been a melee, but okay. I'd actually keep fighting for the angle here. I would recommend you keep trying to push this Roadhog out, because again, you don't want to fight here. If you're fighting here, you're going to be getting pushed from here, and from here. from here, and we don't like that. And as Sigma, you're not actually generally interested in holding the core angle anyways. Things are a bit different because you have a Zarya. You're interested in holding and being very hard to extract from one of the off angles. So you could be like living over here and have never let the Genji in. You could be living in Hotel and never let the Roadhog in, or chip the Roadhog hard on his way to try to get in. Like, that's more how Sigma plays. Sigma is less interested in being in the middle lane here. Much more looking for, can I control these power positions on the angles? Even up here could be a good one. But you see just how uncomfortable this feels, where it's like, oh, there's a Genji here, there's a core here, there's a Hog here. It was good of you to push out the Genji, but like how uncomfortable it feels, where it's like, I don't know what to do. That's because you want to be taking positions where you can't really get threatened in 3 directions at once. You want to go, I deny this to start. I'm here, I throw orbs at them, I peek, I throw orbs at them, I unpeek, I throw orbs at them, I unpeek, I throw orbs in a rock, I unpeek. Oh, they push me a little bit, I back up to here, and I'm still battling for this, and I'm hard to remove, and my team can't really get flanked by this direction because I'm holding this direction. That's more how you want to think with Sigma. Unfortunate. Almost. Okay. Okay. This is probably just stall time. They frequently do it, low ranks, Nordstrom. It's really normal for people to be weirded out by Sigmas on off angles. Yeah, people just don't understand angles. People, for too much of the history of Overwatch, haven't understood angles. Pull back the shield, pull back the shield. That shield was exactly what I was talking about, by the way, where this shield is too far forward because you've exposed it past the corner. So, like, this whole portion of the shield, here is just free for them to shoot at while you can't shoot at them. It's not actually protecting you. So this shield was too deep. And I hope you understand that. Like, Mercy can stand here and pull out a pistol. She's not going to, and shoot at this portion of the shield. And you can't shoot at her while she's shooting at this portion of the shield. So this is something we don't like. I'm just illustrating. Not going to be super relevant for this fight. Okay. You're shifting out. Yep. Okay, so Card is just getting hard pushed right now, which is unfortunate. You sort of need to decide if you can actually win this fight or not. Yeah, you could win this fight. Okay. Okay. Why are you shielding? The Hog's paying attention to your Bob. The Bob's health isn't real. We don't need to protect it. Hog, you still have to deal with the Hog. That's an off-angle threat. You need to be dealing with it. Yes, the shatter happened. But look at all the things this Hog is doing. Zarya, you, yeah.
This will restore you.
Approaching.
My ultimate is almost ready.
I'm sensing the start of a graphitic flux.
That's a Hog. Do you hear him? Do you hear him? Did she just Valk to get out because she missed her Guardian? Oh, that hurts. Okay.
Activating the barrier.
Where's your cover? Where's your cover? Again, that shield was just a little too deep. Please use cover. So your Zarya's playing here, which is fine, and you could be doing this if your Zarya has projected available. If your Zarya doesn't have projected, you could be opening your angle steeper and playing from here. And this would actually allow you to put real pressure on their backline and would relieve a lot of pressure off of this direction because these people would turn to deal with you and Rein wouldn't be getting nearly as much support. And you don't care that they turn to deal with you because you can go bind cover and then reopen and go bind cover. And then they have to be picking between do I put pressure here or here? And every time you go bind cover, that sort of is delaying them time to get back to here to go do this. So your team will receive less total pressure, less total uptime from the opponents if you're able to go, hey, I'll do this and I'll pull multiple people into looking at me back here. Sometimes I know I have to Blizzard should contact you to make the tutorial for Overwatch 2, like we have Fisher Price, My First Overwatch, as a tutorial, and people don't reject. Yeah, that would they definitely should, Nordstrom. I would be open to that gig. Okay, and then from our reviewee, sometimes I know I have to take high ground or good positions on defense, but as a tank, I can't be the only one at those positions. Yes, you absolutely can. You absolutely can be the only one at those positions. So if your team is here, let me rephrase this. It is a perfectly valid Overwatch team composition to run Winston, D.Va, Zen, Brig. Let's go like this. Winston, D.Va, Widow, Mercy, Zen, with a Tracer, for example. That is a completely valid composition, and there's no shield in this composition. Like, the Winston bubble is the closest thing you have to a shield. That's not protecting your Mercy. That's not protecting your Zen. That's not protecting your Widowmaker. So how can it be a valid composition? Because, like, the Winston is off flanking, playing by himself. The D.Va's maybe with the core, but she's not with both cores, because your Widow and your Zen are in different places. So how can this be a valid composition? Well, it's a valid composition because you don't need your shield to protect your team. That's not what your shield is for. Your shield is actually to enable you. So let's say you were able to get up here as Sigma and just do your work from up here, and you had your Ana down here. Well, what would your Ana do? What would your Ana do if she was here? And let's pretend her Zarya was in spawn. What would your Ana do? Well, your Ana would use natural cover. She'd play back here, and she'd be like, okay, I'm going to use natural cover. I'm going to change the angle. I'm going to use natural cover. And again, you're relieving the pressure. They can't pay full attention to your Ana back here, because you're annoying them with your damage threat, with your very real damage threat up here. And if they pay too much attention to you, that's fine. You back up for a second or two. And how long do the three people that turn to look at you want to pay attention to you being behind cover versus going and looking at the Ana? It doesn't matter that there's not another tank protecting your team. You are protecting your team by creating pressure. You are peeling attention from your team by creating pressure from a different angle like this. That's what you're doing. From this angle. From this angle. From perhaps this angle over here. That's what you're doing. And they're then having to spend some amount of their attention on you, and that's what you're looking to do. And you can very likely drag more than one person's attention to you. If you're only dragging one person's attention to you, you're going to throw up your shield and you're going to duel that person. But if you're dragging multiple people's attention to you, that's great. You just use hard cover. And then as soon as it looks like they're not paying attention to you anymore, or you think they might have given up on paying attention, which will take like a second and a half, you peek and do more damage. And then that wrenches their attention back to you. Or if they don't bring attention back to you, you do a lot of damage and threaten to get eliminations, which will win the fight. Happy Easter, everyone. Yeah, happy Easter, everyone. Would a Bronze Ana play natural cover? No. But who cares? Your Bronze Ana doesn't play natural cover. Your Bronze Ana plays right here, and that absolutely sucks. But if you're up here, because we got up here using Flux or something, that's still going to cause them to look at you. And is your Ana going to go down faster because she's not using natural cover? Absolutely, she is. But she's also going to go down faster in general because she's not using natural cover. Whether you're here or here. Like, she's going to go down faster either way. And this, or this or this relieves pressure from her either way. So that doesn't really change anything. The only thing that you give up by playing over here or over here is your teammates will sometimes tilt on you because they don't understand it. You'll still be helping them a ton, but your teammates will still get upset that you're not just being rectangle man for them, that you're not just setting up your oval shield for them because they don't understand the game. Them understanding the game doesn't change how the game works, though, and the benefits that you're giving them and that they're receiving, whether they recognize those benefits or not. So you can then make the decision to play with your team and play worse by doing so, by to keep them happy so that they don't tilt, but it doesn't actually change the benefits being given. And you do get better benefits right now by being over here and threatening from this direction. She's not yet a temporal customer, and that's her fault. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, Blood's got it.
Assemble at this location.
Okay, your Zarya is threatening this angle, so we want to be threatening more this angle. And look what we deny. We would deny this McCree from coming in. If we were holding this angle, we were going, oh, I'm threatening Reinhardt. Oh, there's a McCree? I don't think so. I'm going to throw up my shield and deny you walking in here. And then McCree is going to be very unhappy because the time that he spent rotating from here into here is going to effectively be wasted, and he's going to have to go back to his team because he can't push you. He can't walk through this to push you. Instead, he could have just taken down your Mercy if he was even a little bit better, and that was something you could have prevented. You should have prevented. If you were playing Sigma the right way, you would have prevented that. You tried. Okay, so you need to be peeling back because they're clearly taking space. They're pushing into you with ults, and you can't hold this. So you need to peel back, and you would peel back to here, and now you would play from this angle. And if you start to turn the fight again, you might hippity-hoppity your way up here, and then start to work from this off angle. But for now, they're clearly taking space. They're pushing up with an ultimate. You're not going to be able to hold this space. You want to back off and basically get yourself to here, where you have a fresh corner to play around. Instead, you're going to queue. Yeah, Blah has good Q sense.
You shall return.
Good. Oh boy, I can block 2 shots, and it can't even block that if he walks through it. Oh boy. So again, sending this shield this far. You fired those. You're sending this out. You could fire shots again. You could fire shots again. You could fire shots again, and you're still sending this shield forward. So that's delaying your shots coming out, and it's making it so that he can take a step through it, and you won't be able to put it back out for another 2 seconds. Like, even if you recall it after he steps through it, you're going to be stuck. Whereas if it was closer, you get him.
You look tired.
Oh boy. Oh boy. No, pull it down and shift. Pull it down and shift. Pull it down and shift. No, don't turn around to deal with this. Your front line's gonna melt. Okay. So ideally, you'd have used some of this time to actually go take up over here, and then you'd be rotating and playing from here now. You'd be going like, I'm threatening from here, I'm threatening from here. And you'd be doing a bit more of that as opposed to just being here down main. No, not a thing. What is this? What? This is time you could be shooting at him. This is making your shield totally worthless. This is silly. I don't even know how you justify that one. I don't.
Activating the barrier.
Still sending these shields too far. Okay, now you don't need to worry about being in the Zarya's line of sight anymore because you saw a projected bubble has already been used. So that's even more reason to go over here and force this echo out. You can, with your Mercy Pocket, go force this echo out and then threaten from over here, and it would be lovely. Good! Now, please go take that spot and rock this Mercy when she tries to res it. Okay, if your Zarya wants to angle there, you can hold this one instead. We're going to stop the McCree this time! You're kidding me. That just makes me sad. Okay. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it! Good. Yeah, that was very predictable, unfortunately. You just have to know that that's what he was going to do. Like, he was going to hook you, and he was going to hook you into the pit, then you had to know that that was like a metaphysical certainty that that was what was coming. That's a game sense thing that you'll get by knowing that his hook is up, by knowing what Hogs like to do, by knowing that he's walking forward in this lost fight, and you instead play much closer to this, and you close the angle. You close the angle, and you simply do not let that hook happen. Or you throw your shield out. Because your shield can block his hook, no problem. No, I don't want him to Q there. I think he's okay without it.
Approaching. A graphitic flux is upon us. The experiment is ready. Time for a graphitic flux.
Oh no. Oh no.
My strength unleashed.
Escapes gravity.
Oh boy. Let's just say it's a good thing that McCree didn't get healing. That would have... Oh boy. Okay, so... This McCree now has high ground. You've just given everyone just ran to cover against like where this McCree was. Everyone just ran to cover, and you just changed his angle so that like now he gets to charge up from here. Now, fortunately, someone finishes him, but if he had gotten any healing up here, he now has this fresh angle after your team has used their abilities to get to cover. You've changed his angle, and now they don't have new stuff to get to cover. The cover they went to isn't good against this new position. So like you have to be very careful about lifting high noon McCrees, and by very careful, I basically mean don't do it. This could have gone so much worse.
Observe the barrier.
Enemy seen.
Gonna rock it? Gonna rock it? Nope, nope. That shreds your shield too fast, and it actually shreds your shield faster when you send it close to him, because it's a high spread ult there. So you definitely don't want to send your shield close to him, and also he does a lot of damage when you get really close to him. So if you were gonna block that with anything, you'd block it with your shift, not your shield. But the truth is, at that distance and with him not looking at you, rock was the answer. You try to stun him out of it. You're gonna shift, but you don't have resources. Yeah. Okay. So that happened.
Ready for battle.
Oh, and we're onto the monkey for Monk. Okay.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
I can't wait to see you all in action.
Time to act.
Ready for battle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
That probably covers our Sigma. So your main takeaways for your Sigma are, I want you to do way, way less of that throwing your shield forward. Just minimum distance shield deploys should be standard for you. They should very much be standard for you. So please do that instead. And I want you to work on that. And the other thing I'm going to want you to work on for Sigma after you fix that, because that should be a relatively easy fix, is I want you to look for those off angles. We spent a lot of time talking about those off angles. I want you to go control that second lane, control that slight high ground thing. I don't care if there's not a teammate with you. I don't care if a McCree or an Anna or whatever doesn't come with you. In fact, I don't expect them to. I want you to go to those places. And even when your partner is a hog, if your partner is a hog and your hog is doing a lot of off angling, that's fine. You can play a little more on core and he'll take the off angles because you'll still have different angles from each other. But if your partner is a Zarya, Zarya's not going to off angle all that hard. Usually, sometimes she will. So you're going to have to do a little more off angling, and it's hard with Zarya because you also have to play around her projected bubble. You want to like off angle from her, but in such a way that she can still bubble you. Or you can play on very narrow off angles where you're like slightly off angled, you get the bubble, you get some bubble value, and then when you know bubble's on cooldown, you take a greater off angle. It's hard with Zarya. Can Sigma send his shield back to his backline if they're getting flanked to help them out? That can be a thing, yeah. That can be a thing. Someone just messaged me about wanting to do a duo review either on tanks or on support, and I'm looking forward to doing a support one, though another tank one would be fine. Just a day or two ago, and then they haven't followed up, since I responded. I'll have to follow up with them, see if we can still get that, because that'd be a good one. Please don't. Please don't do this.
Turret ahead. Use caution.
One, 0.5. I'm counting this as 0.5 because you have your Zarya's help from the bubble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This isn't going to go well. I can pretty much guarantee you this isn't going to go well. You are going to get exploded. And it's not like you leapt into a place like here, for example, where you could do your work and then pretty quickly round the corner and mitigate the damage that comes in on you. And maybe like even though you won't have your leap cooldown yet, be able to like sort of hide and maybe sort of get out, or like stall in here for 2 more seconds until leap comes back and then leap out. Like this is just this is not what monkey engagements look like. So you get to hit harder dives, as we'll call them, when you have a Zarya like this. You are correct that you do get to hit harder dives, but you still can't just go hard into the middle like this. You just can't. You can't do this. You can dive harder than you would normally, but normal for a Winston is, let me sneak up here. Let me leap up to here. Let me get healed by my team. Let me walk over here. Let me break this turret. Let me break this turret. Now with 400 health and my bubble and my leap all available, I'm going to drop behind on this Mercy. I'm going to zap her. She Guardian Angels over there. I'm going to jump on her. I'm going to finish her. Oh, people turn to fight me. I drop my shield. I fight for a second or two. Oh, now I'm just going to leave through here. That's what normal monkey play looks like. You get to dive a little harder with the Zarya bubble. You absolutely do, but not this hard. You are just going to get exploded so hard right now. So hard.
I'm claiming this objective.
And this leap that you just went in for again here, you know you're not going to get a Zarya bubble, at least not for a second or two, and you don't have your bubble for, and now you've used your leap to go in again, so you can't get out. You have no escapes. You have no escapes and no sustain. Oh my goodness, they can't aim. They can't aim so hard. You should have taken 2 trips to spawn by now. Better. This is better. You've actually leapt behind the team so they'd have to turn around to deal with you. You have a Zarya bubble. You had the potential to go in here or to go out here. This was the best leap we've seen so far. Okay. I mean, I can rewatch this, but so here we are. This leap was better. This leap was better in part because instead of being in the middle of them, where, okay, they're going to deal with you, you're behind them, and behind them at least makes them turn or not. So either they're distracted by your teammates and you get to do work, or they turn for you and they turn your back to your team, and your team is more likely to do real damage to them. That's what made that leap better. This doesn't help. It's mostly a Reinhardt on you. And you landed in the Fire Strike. Unfortunate.
Further experimentation required. There is no
Back to Sigma.
obligation
Okay.
for the universe to make sense to you. You have my barrier in place.
Can you rocket in time? Probably not, but you should still try.
Barrier's about to break.
Okay. So you'll get tempo. If you just wait, you'll get tempo. No, 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 no. We shouldn't really push yet. We should wait for a Mercy because, you know, they're not going to be able to res this hog. It's in too deep. So they can't res this hog. We wait on a Mercy. We'll then get to push on 6 in a second. But you wouldn't push this angle because this is pushing down main. You would go over here, and threatening over here is going to bait their attention. They're going to want to spend attention over here. And if they're spending attention over here, turning their screens over here to try to shoot at you, it's way easier for your squishy teammates to walk from here to behind statue. And then they can decide if they want to go this way, or with you over here. But you see how you being over here would let your teammates support you just fine from there, and would distract these guys, and distracting these guys pulls it so that their screens are looking that way, which makes it way safer for your teammates. And that's another thing where we were talking about, where it's actually safer for your teammates to pull some of your opponent's screens this way than it is for you to try to be here and be like, but my body and my shield and my shift and my teammates can walk up through that. No, because your shield isn't very much. You've only got 400 HP, and all of the screens are now looking at you. That's more dangerous for your team.
Destroyed. Oh. Barrier, I require healing.
Good. And you see, we just saw that in action. This Reinhardt backed up, not because things were so scary over here, but because you were throwing orbs in from this direction. The Lucio is now looking at you. The Reinhardt is now looking at you. The Torb back there is now paying attention to you. You have just relieved way more pressure for your team. Now there's only the Junkrat that your team has to worry about pushing through. You relieved a ton of pressure by being here. And now your team can much more easily get across this, whether they then go this way, or this way. This is how it works. Pull back your shield. Pull back your shield. It's not protecting you anymore. Pull back your shield. And stay a little back here. As they push you, which is something that they'll do, as they push you, you just go, oh yeah, that's cool. And you peel back like this. And as you peel back like this, you're more in your support's help line, and they're leaving their backlines. If they get baited and chasing you, they're leaving their support's backline. Or their supports are coming forward, and their supports are squishy, and your team can potentially take them out. So they're leaving the help of their Torb and their turret now, and they're exposing themselves to your Hanzo, to your Ana. Like, this is exactly what you want. You just peel them back like this. That's what you can do when you're holding off angles. It's great. No, we don't want to push back into them. If they'll push us, we're happy to let them. Okay, now we do this. That's fine. Don't push in this deep. You're too far. You see how far you are from your cover now? I actually want you playing just right here where you can peel back like you just did before. I don't want you up here because now if they push you, you have to do things like spend your shift to get yourself back to here. And I don't want that. I was perfectly happy with you right here. Right here, you did plenty of good things. Up here, you had a little more aggressive of an angle, in that you could reach a few more people, you could hit people a little more easily, but you gave up a ton of protection for it. Absolutely not worth the trade. Oh yeah, the surprise Sigma in the Coates matchup. That was fun. Kite, 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 kite. Their beat just went off. You know you have to kite back. Coffee's empty. Unfortunate. If you're running a Sigma on Kingsrow, you should be playing Sigma Goats. Sadly, they can't. Competitive has that annoying 2-2-2 lock. Okay.
What was that equation again?
So that's not really how you want to use your shift. You want to use your shift to get from one place to another. You don't want to just go like, I'm going to shift here to absorb a few shots, because like, yes, you absorb shots and you got some extra health, but that's not a good enough benefit. You want to use your shift to be like, I'm going to save shield. I'm going to use shift to get from here to here type thing. Or I'm going to use shift because there's an ult going type thing. You don't want to just shift because, oh, here's some damage I would like to absorb. Well, why don't I just hide behind the bus and then I don't care about the damage? Why don't I just go up this way? Yep, I saw that blob. Weekend is looking popular.
Hello. What a curious feeling.
Pull him back, pull him back. That shift doesn't help you. He has a hammer. So if you're struggling to break this choke, your off angle is to actually come up here and pelt him from over here. You pelt him from over here. That's your new off angle, by the way. It takes you a little bit to rotate to there, but that's your off angle if you're struggling to break this choke right here, and they're not letting you take statue reasonably. I think you're just going to flux to break it, but heck.
Barrier won't hold together. Barrier no longer exists.
You're existing in this choke too often, you want to rotate past it. Because remember, you don't need to just exist here to try to let your teammates go by. If you go here, remember what that does in terms of if you can get to here, you can potentially threaten the off angle, which will help your teammates get across. Yeah, I knew this was coming. You're finishing your flux here. I'm glad Bob came to help. Okay. You gonna rock it? Or are you holding rock to deny the res?
Barrier in place.
That... I don't love that. Yeah. Mercy was waiting for you to spend that rock, and I was going to justify the rock into the grab. I'm not justifying the rock there, because now she gets that. You should still win without any trouble, but... Good block.
Team kill. 10 seconds
A graphitic
remaining.
flux is upon us. Observe the barrier. Go.
That is one of the rare situations where you do send your shield forward like that. So good job there. Okay. So, not going to comment on Winston because you played like a minute of him or less. What we're instead going to do, let's get a real screen here.
Barrier is destroyed.
My ultimate is charging.
Sure. What we're instead going to do here is we are going to really stay on your Sigma, and we are really going to finish it with the 2 points that we thought we were going to talk about, which are, I really want you to be more careful about throwing that shield forward, but the real thing I want you to focus on, the thing that is critical to understanding Sigma, to climbing like wild with Sigma, is understanding that off-angle pressure. If you go here, it opens things up for your team over here drastically. And you saw that. If your team is trying to hold here, you help them by threatening through here significantly. And if they put pressure on you, you just close the angle. then you peek and reapply pressure. And you saw like when you got pushed here, I don't know if you did this intentionally, but you peel back and it pulls their front line out of its backline support range. Or if their backline comes with them, well, now their backline is more accessible to your backline. So that's sort of the power of how these off angles work. It's great. It's amazing. And Sigma is really good at holding them. It takes a disproportionate amount of effort invested to remove a Sigma from an off angle that he's holding compared to removing other heroes, or compared to, removing him from the main angle, etc., removing him when he doesn't have cover that he gets to abuse. So that is like the key to climbing with Sigma. I would recommend you work on that as your big thing. You use like 10%, 15% of your brain power while you're playing to focus on that, to look for places that you can do that from, even as the battle is happening, for your next like 10 games, 15 games, and try to build that into your play so that that becomes something you automatically do, part of your autopilot, how you play the game. And then once that's built in there, then move on to fixing the shield stuff, where 90% of the time you should not be far throwing your shield like you are. Just the minimum shield distance will do absolutely what you need, and then you won't miss out on left click shots. You won't let opponents have opportunities to shoot at your shield when it's not actually protecting anyone, which is free value for the opponents, all that good stuff. If you have questions, go ahead and throw them in chat now. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that really helps me out and I appreciate it quite a bit. Or if you are looking to join my Discord, let me rephrase that. If you are looking to get coaching, you can join my Discord in the description below. But the other reason you might want to join my Discord is we coordinate events in there, like the one we are currently coordinating, which are internal scrims. This will be the second time we are doing them, and people really enjoyed them last time. So if you want to get in on those internal scrims, have a good time, you want to get into that Discord, see what schedule we have up now, and react with what makes sense for you timing-wise, so that you can have some influence on getting it to happen on a day that you could be here and you could have a blast with the rest of us. Okay, let's take a look at questions. Think everyone appreciated interrupting Hollitz to call him the carry. Oh yeah, that was back in the last scrim that they're talking about there. He almost built a whole new flux. GG. Yeah, but we don't care about his teammates. We don't care about his teammates because if he learns off angles, he's going to leave them behind. So they're just not going to be a problem. Sigma feels so bad on the front line. Feels so weak. Exactly. Absolutely true. The pugs are so much fun. Everyone should join. Absolutely. And I'm not worried. If we get too many people, guys, I'll just break it up and we'll do 2 different lobbies of them. That's totally fine. And maybe we'll trade people between lobbies. Who knows? But like, it'll be fine. The more the merrier is really going to be the case. I might have to jump between the lobbies to do my pretend casting, etc. But it'll be great. Okay. Looks like that's what we've got here. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it here. I will do more of this evening. I don't think I'm going to do another one now, though I'll probably upload a video now. But yeah, that's going to do it. Happy Easter, guys. Thanks. Temporal out.